Now let's create a DTD from scratch. Notice the XML document that we want to create a DTD for, because we want to validate. We want to make sure that any other document that we're trading information in an XML format matches the structure of this one. You'll notice people is our root element, and under the root element we have one husband tag. There's the second husband tag. Now we have an attribute in here that we haven't talked about yet, so don't worry about that. We'll get to it before we actually validate this. Within the husband we have name, age, and wife. And then within wife we have W, name, and age. So we need to build a DTD, a document type definition, that will describe this particular XML document. What we're going to do here is we're simply going to open a tag, put an exclamation point, and in all caps, put element. Put a space, and let's start with our root element and say inside the root we want to have the element called husband. And notice this particular husband tag can appear, the asterisk means 0 or more times. Okay, and then we simply close that out. Now, let me show you a gotcha. If you're a programmer, you will tend to not put this space in here, because that's the way you call a method in most programs. You'll have to put a space in here or it'll shout at you when you try to validate with it, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But just watch for that. Now, we've taken care of our root element, so now let's go from there. What about that husband element? Well, in the husband element, what's going to be inside there? Well, name, notice over here, name, age, and wife are inside the husband element. So we'll put those in there. We won't put any kind of symbol in there saying that they can only appear once. A husband should only have one name, should only have one age, and should only have one wife, right? Yeah, I know there's situations where you may have more, but we don't want to get into that. This XML is complicated enough, okay? So next thing, notice now let's deal with these. So let's go here next. And let's say, okay, we've taken care of the people and husband can be in there. Now we've taken care of husband, what can be in there? And let's talk about each of these now. The element name, what's inside name? Nothing, but what kind of data goes in there? PC data is going to be in there, and that means parsed data, that when our XML parser, when we're validating this document, it can make sure that there's data in there. Then we'll do the same for age. And in a different video, we will talk about the various types that can go in here. Okay, so now we've taken care of name and age. Then let's go back and catch this wife tag. We've dealt with name and age. Now let's talk about wife. And notice inside wife right here, we have something more than data. We have actual elements in there, so we need to list those. We've got a W, name, and an age. Get my typing right here. And we'll say that you can have 0 or more of those. And then we will point out that W name is taking PC data. And we'll close it. Now, if I were to validate this right now, hopefully it would be okay. I'm going to have an issue with this attribute. We'll get to an attribute in a later video. But what this is telling it is this structure needs to be here. There needs to be a people tag and inside there a husband tag, right? 0 or more times. Then inside the husband tag there should be a name, an age, and a wife, only one. Then inside that name tag you're going to have regular data. Inside the age tag you're going to have regular data. Inside the wife tag you're going to have 2 more tags called W name and age, and there can be many of those. And then inside that W name you're going to have PC data. Now notice I didn't have to address age again here because I've already addressed it that it's taking PC data. Now in a later video we'll actually validate this against this XML document, and all I'm going to say about validation now is it depends on what environment you're in, how you actually go about validating. We are actually going to have to run a program that takes the XML document and takes the DTD document and compares them to each other to see if they match. Now obviously I forgot to do something here. Let's save this document, and I'm just going to stick it out on the desktop. I'll call it People DTD. Notice the .dtd extension. Change it to all files, and I'll save that to the desktop. So that's a very simple generic DTD document. We'll use it later to validate and show you how that's done.